Hello, everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast as part of a Spectra Dossier. This audio podcast as part of a Giant Squadron. This audio podcast as part of a SZtorm. This audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production. In this audio podcast, as sort of an overview in regard to one of the strategies, as part of the Lord Mayor of Bristol and Southwest sort of blood and solid organ transplant initiative or campaign works from 2013 to 2015, and where there's peer reviewed and published works from 2015 informs of the strategies, the varying strategies. In this audio podcast, now delving into the ethical aspects. So when individuals are making a decision to go forward with donating blood or a solid organ, ethics always has a role to play. Healthcare professionals should be actively disseminating the main facts on uh, on um, the solid organ transplant process, on around the solid organ transplant process, and interacting with the BAME, those amongst the BAME community, to ensure that the information they receive in around solid organ transplantation alleviates concerns or misconceptions. So some of the activities that took place um, are thus. So, in addition to ongoing campaign activities, two healthcare professionals were invited to discuss the ethics of solid organ donation and transplantation during organized webinars in support of World Kidney Day 2013, and during the radio interviews, there was discussion about the more requirements to be done, more requirements more requirements to aid the understanding of solid organ transplantation pathways. It is evident that the media it is and was evident that that media can play a greater part in the process. Many faiths support the principles of solid organ donation and transplantation, and accept organ donation is an individual's choice, and it is an individual choice. NHS Blood and Transplant has worked closely with faith leaders to produce a series of material explaining solid organ transplantation, and solid organ transplantation principles. These materials, leaflets, for example, etc., are accessible and downloadable through NHS Blood and Transplant, sort of website. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast as part of a Spectra Dossier. This audio podcast as part of a SZtorm. This audio podcast as part of a Giant Squadron. This audio podcast as part of a Storm Robotics production.